Welcome. And another funny headline coming from the Tinubu'S camp, sending warnings to Peter Obi that he mustn't betray the southern agenda, that Peter Obi accepting the coalition with Atiku, and most especially this time, saying that he wants to be the deputy, simply means that Peter Obi wants to betray the southern essence of existence. For me, I would question the Tinubu camps. Why are you guys worried? In fact, why are the Tinubu camps crying more than the bereaved? While I understand and I'm aware that within this period of 2023 to 2031, that yes, we are supposed to have the turn of the southern presidency, but it is not in any way written, neither is it cast in stone, that if a southerner has done 4 years, a northerner cannot come and break it. No, it is not written. But also, I am also aware, right, that Peter Obi cannot topple a Tinubu with the Southern as his principal. It's not going to work because I haven't studied the pattern, the style of politics Tinubu and his cohorts play. It is a politics of destruction. It is a politics of divide and rule. It is a politics that since 2022, Nigeria has become even more polarized than ever before. Never have we seen Nigeria become so polarized until the involvement of Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the federal level. When Jonathan was about to be kicked out, that was the beginning of it. Though then his influence was minimal, but within the period of 2022 into 2023, we started hearing Yachinedu don't come out and vote. And who were the people that said those statements? These were staunch men. MC Olu almost said such a word that ordinarily, if Nigeria is a country that is functioning, MC Olomo right now should be rotting in jail. But however, we saw how the policemen came out and then they defended and protected him. Okay? Secondly, we saw how Igbo electors were lynched. Beaten. They were, in some places, they were even stabbed on the eyes. Right? In Lagos State here, it's funny that this is a playing field where if you are not ready to go into politics of tribalism, don't even dare. Now, using this sentiment that I have laid down for you as a premise, Obi now thinks if you go into the 2027 election, that deputizing Atiku will somehow defeat Tinubu. No, I think that would be a mistake, and it will be a mistake on the part of Atiku, and also it will stigmatize Peter Obi forever. Sincerely, if Peter Obi wants to go into the election, go into that election, right? You being the spear and the arrowhead at the same time, using a formidable northerner as a deputy. You could use a Kwankwaso, you could use an Erufai, or you could even seek for someone who is fresh in the game, right? There are so many northern youths that are, intelligent and not even bad in popularity, because what we actually need is a Peter Obi to run, leading the cause and not at the same time breaking the southern agenda. Yes, there are arguments that Peter Obi single-handedly cannot beat a Tinubu. Yes, I know. Because one, Peter Obi does not have the charisma. Peter Obi does not have the money. He cannot outspend Tinubu. And then thirdly, Peter Obi is an Igbo man. And we all know that in the Nigerian politics, the Igbo man is like a second-class citizen when it comes to the Nigerian politics. This is not me saying it. This is because the Igbos have always demonstrated it. In my comment section, if I ask people that why didn't Obi defend the election as of 2023 by charging his supporters who were not only Igbos, in fact, we had large numbers of Yorubas, we had large numbers of Northerners, they will tell me, why would he do that? Don't I know he's an Igbo man? Then that only presents to me that being an Igbo man in Nigeria as of today simply means you are a second-class citizen who might get, stamped on, get slapped, and all you need to do is to absorb the pain and move on, right? Why those who see themselves as a first class? Push yourself, just put a northerner like a Buhari. Atiku is not radical. Atiku is a swagbe. Now put a person like Buhari into that position. Buhari felt he won, right? Look at what happened in 2011. Nothing less than 900 people were fired. And he sent that message. In fact, because of that event, Nigerian rating to become one of the unsafe place to visit, just because of that gameplay, Nigeria became stigmatized at national level. And we saw that momentum was what drove Buhari into the seat of power. Say whatever you want to say. Maybe I'm pushing for anarchy. Maybe I'm pushing for bloodshed. I am not. Listen, in democracy, the electorate, they need a strong leader. They need someone who is convinced, who can stand his ground, right? And for me, a Peter Obi come 2027 saying he wants to go and deputize an Atiku is a betrayal of the Southern agenda, is a betrayal of he himself, that is a lower person, that Atiku indeed has to become the president for him to become. And lastly, he shows a lack of awareness of his own self-worth. I don't want to believe he would. I mean, there are so many headlines out there. There are so many newspaper dailies who are pushing this propaganda now that Atiku and Obi have agreed. And we also saw a video where Obi said that he is in coalition against hunger, that his involvement in politics is not about position, but about what people who are in position do. You see, words like this, these are words that shows your indecisiveness as a person. It doesn't show that you are committed to achieving your aim and goals. If you are in the game to become the president, do not shy away from it. It's as simple as night and day. The insult that Atiku will always consider a Peter Obi as a second fiddle has to be stopped. But who am I? I'm not even an obedient. Neither am I a batified or an articulate. I'm just an objective analyst. And I feel that you need to stand your boundaries. You need to set the standard for people to see and know and understand who you are, so that they don't just offer you a slice of bread when indeed you are even worth more than a full loaf of bread. These are the issues. And of course, there have been so many permutations that come 2027, Tinubu will be fully engaged in tribal wars against the North if a Peter Obi, and of course the Igbos will suffer what we call serious economic consequences. Listen, you Tinubu supporters must stop this nonsensical threat. You guys don't have the monopoly of violence, right? You guys don't. The Tinubu supporters must get the fact straight that you do not have the monopoly of violence, enough of a threat. The same threat that they did in 2023 to 20. I mean, let us go. And this is why they call me Yoruba bot. This is why sometimes they even call me Yoruba Omoali bastard. We want to go into election. Let us go into an election on a fair playing field. Let everybody campaign with their achievements. I know Tinubu what has he achieved? Is it subsidy removal? Okay, is it the NEL fund? Right? Is that it? What about the issue of the corruption? Right? What about it? Electricity. Tinubu himself said, watch this. Welcome back. If I do not sort out electricity in 4 years, my first tenure, don't vote me back in. You know the agenda the APC minions. They're now playing that, well, luckily for Tinubu, electricity generation and distribution is no longer in the hands of the federal government. Kai, almost sense. They said the idea and of course the obligation for the federal government to now be in charge of power generation, it has now been decentralized. That it has now been moved from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. That the state governors are the ones. Listen, guys, if by 2025, in the next 3 months, if there are no clear directions into where Obi is going, right, that I want to stand alone, right, and in fact, I excited yesterday and Obi to speak against an Atiku that no, what I need from Atiku is an endorsement. Period. We can work together. Atiku can give me nominations when I get there, and I will promise if I'm going to do 4 years, have that in writing with the Northerners. I believe an Obi can do that. But the idea that Obi this is highest level of insult. I don't know if Atiku is working for Tinubu. I don't even know. I'm confused. Because I am looking at what is the rationale, the motive, or the logic. How does Atiku wants to market himself come 2027? And how does he think an Obi will fall for that crap? How bad? So it is funny when I see issues like Atiku will go for sale. It's a waste of time. And Obi must open his eyes, shine his eyes, and reject this Trojan horse of an offer. Thank you.
In nonsense, since the Igbos are still in Nigeria, if you want to play this politics with the Yorubas, Obi need to go and deputize Atiku Abubakar. It might not look sweet now, because look at it. If Tinubu become president again till 2031, power will go to the north. After the 8 years, if power is coming, the Yoruba will still grab it because they know how to make relationship with the Hausa because of religious difference. Igbos are not Muslims. Now it is very good if Peter Obi go in deputy. I know maybe they might want after the deputy, they might not want him to be a president, but at least they are still go closer to power. Look at it. Despite that Tinubu government does not allow Shetima to perform well or to do whatever, at least Shetima is a vice president. Through his office now, many of his people are giving the presidential appointment. They are doing this thing. What a people man. Tell me what has Igbo man has gained from this country? What has Igbo, apart from Obasanjo that even have interest of people that allow Igbo man to become a snake president? Look at it. There is Igbo man is not good to become anything, and that's the reason. This is the reason why where we are. Without Igbo man, there's no Nigeria. Nigeria cannot move forward. I am not Igbo. I'm from the middle belt. I will tell you the reason. Under Obasanjo government, you can see that it was Igbo that were in the front of the economy of Obasanjo. The Konjo Wella, the Charles Olugo, the CPA. Our Naira was fighting dollars compared to what we have now. But the moment Buhari came in 2015, the hatred he has against the Igbos, I don't know. I'm still asking Buhari a question. That's why I say Buhari need to try again. Need to go to be tried. If you are trying Imazin and Mekano, because Buhari caused everything that is happening now. Is it the Igbo that overtake Buhari government? Why is the hatred against the Igbos?
You know why? If Obi deputizes Atiku, Obi is not coming out with his really, plans or agenda. I don't know what I understand for Nigeria. Deputization is based on appointment. I don't know what I understand. And Atiku was there for 8 years. He could not do anything. He deputized Obasanjo. It was the same Igbo materials used by Obasanjo that actually did well during Obasanjo regime, which is why I'm standing on a very solid reason why Obi could not deputize Atiku. Atiku a Fulani man. Atiku that marketed and sold the whole public institution in Nigeria. The whole federal agencies were sold off by Atiku. Where is the money? He pocketed the money. So this time around, Atiku could not come as a president, and you expect Obi that attended Harvard University, that attended Oxford University, a management expert. His management prowess could not be relegated to deputization. Vice presidency, my food. The cap is supposed to be worn by the head that fits it. Obi is not fitted into deputization because he wants it for someone else. Because he's an Igbo man, he's not trying to relegate an Igbo man to that level. No. Nigerian presidency, when did the Igbo man officially presided over that office for the last time? I'm telling you, it has been a donkey years, time immemorial. We can no longer memorize, at least we can't memorize it again because it was only 1966. When you talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe presidency, he was just a ceremonial president. The right person there was Abakatafa Balawa. I don't know whether I understand what I'm saying. We need to fill the Igbos by allowing them at Asorok to preside over the office of the presidency. That is when Nigeria will get the real leadership, economical, socially, and otherwise they needed. The cap is supposed to be worn by the head that fits it.
I'm in coalition against hunger, in coalition against poverty, in coalition against good health. Politics for me is not about position. It is about doing the right thing.
Atiku must rest. I mean, these are the cries and warnings of some groups calling themselves Coalition of Southern Youth. They sent a message to the North, to the Fulanis, that Atiku would not be supported come 2027. Yes, as much as I try to present myself as an objective person, I have one bias. And that bias is me ensuring that I break down the Fulani's hegemony, which has been holding Nigeria for the last 60-something years. Or should I say for over 100 years, since 1914, that we've had that amalgamation. You see, the North will never compromise to reduce their years in power for a Southerner, no matter what. If it is not induced by God, the issue that happened between Yaradua and Jonathan was only influenced because it was a time for Yaradua to go and he died. You see, aside that, you will, if you paid attention, you will notice that the North did everything that the vice president, who was Jonathan that time, never become the president. However, through the intervention of some media outfits and Dora Akuyili, may God bless her soul, Jonathan became the president, which of course led to the establishment of doctrine of necessity, as it were, because the North did everything. They said, no, we will never allow a Southerner because now is our turn. Now, this Southern Youth Coalition, I know these people might be sponsored by the Tinubu'S camp, which I know, and I believe it should be true. But one thing an Obi must understand is, him deputizing an Atiku will unilaterally lead to the division of this country. Because these are the warnings the Southern coalitions have sent, an open letter to the Northern oligarchs, that if the North will not respect the gentleman agreement that was held as at 1999, that power will be rotated between the North and South, accordingly in equal proportion, that when it is a turn of the North, if it's not induced by any force majeure, that the North will complete their 8 years, no matter how terrible they are, right? As at 2015 to 2019, Buhari was a terrible president. I don't think there was one Southerner that came out. What we heard was, aside from Showore, I don't think there was any other prominent Southerner that I am aware of. But I know that the two political parties that we have in Nigeria as at 2019 presented two Northerners, and that was Atiku and Buhari. And somehow Atiku lost because there were allegations that Buhari rigged the election. But what we know is Atiku did not in any way go to court, neither did he lead a protest to question or query that result. As of 2023, Atiku felt he could go into the ring again to disrupt the gentleman agreement, because it seems like the agenda of Atiku is just to disrespect the South, the collective South. Another symbol that Atiku does not respect the South is when he keeps saying that if he does not become the president, a Southeasterner cannot become the president. I'm going to show you some reactions of some, of some people. In fact, reactions of Igbos regarding these new propositions from the Atiku camps, who are trying to deceive the Igbos into this trap that without Atiku becoming the president, because if you look at the trajectory of Atiku, Atiku is the only man who seems to be the symbol of pan-Nigerian. He has 3 wives. He married a Yoruba wife, married an Igbo wife, and he married a Fulani wife. That means he is, as far as is concerned, he is non-partisan, he is detribalized. Oh,